In the high-stakes world of the NFL, Stefon Diggs is known for his precision on the field, his razor-sharp roots, and a personality that refuses to be sidelined. But right now, the headlines aren't about touchdowns or trade rumors. They are centered on a legal battle that has peeled back the curtain on his private life, sparking a firestorm of reactions across social media. When legal documents hit the public record, it's rarely just about the facts, it's about the optics. And in this case, the optics are blinding. The drama reached a boiling point when none other than Cardi B decided to weigh in. Known for her no-filter approach to trending topics, Cardi's involvement added a layer of gasoline to an already raging fire. Why did she feel the need to speak up? Was it a defense of a friend or a commentary on the double standards of celebrity? Legal battles. This isn't just a he said, she said courtroom drama. It's a case study in how quickly a professional athlete's reputation can be dissected by the court of public opinion. From the cryptic Instagram stories to the leaked legal filings, every move is being watched. Fans are divided. Some see a targeted attack on a superstar, while others believe this is a long overdue moment of accountability. As we break this down, we aren't just looking at the what, we are looking at the why. How did a private legal matter become a trending topic that even the queen of Bronx hip-hop couldn't ignore? We are about to peel back the layers of this controversy, starting with the origins of the lawsuit, moving through the explosive social media fallout, and concluding with what this means for Diggs' future, both on and off the turf. Buckle up, because the narrative is shifting, and the truth is far more complex than a headline can capture. When the name Stefon Diggs is mentioned, the immediate imagery that comes to mind is one of athletic precision, high-fashion tunnel walks, and the competitive fire that has defined his tenure in the NFL. He is a player who has meticulously crafted a brand, built on excellence and an unbreakable professional exterior. However, in recent weeks, that polished image has faced its most significant challenge to date. Far away from the roar of the stadium and the strategic huddles on the sidelines, a legal storm has been brewing in the quiet hallways of the judicial system. The emergence of a high-stakes court case involving Diggs has sent shockwaves through the sports world, peeling back a layer of his private life that many fans never expected to see. This isn't just a minor headline or a passing rumor. This is a comprehensive legal battle that threatens to redefine his legacy. The genesis of this controversy lies in a series of legal filings that detail allegations ranging from contractual disputes to more personal character-based claims. In the world of elite sports, a player's reputation is their most valuable currency. When documents are filed in a court of law, they carry a weight that social media speculation simply cannot match. The plaintiffs in this case didn't just aim for a financial settlement, they aimed for the narrative. By bringing these issues into the public record, they ensured that every detail would be scrutinized by the media, the league, and the fans. The initial shock of the filing was palpable. Sports analysts who usually spend their time debating route running and catch percentages were suddenly forced to pivot, discussing legal terminology and the potential ramifications of character clauses in multi-million-dollar contracts as the news broke. The digital landscape transformed into a virtual courtroom. Within minutes of the reports hitting the wire, Stefon Diggs began trending globally. This is the reality of the 2026 media cycle. Information moves faster than a deep ball down the sideline. On platforms like X and TikTok, the reaction was divided but intense. Supporters of Diggs immediately rallied, citing the long history of high-profile athletes being targeted by frivolous lawsuits designed to exploit their wealth. They argued that this was a classic shakedown attempt, a price that comes with the territory of being a superstar. However, on the other side of the digital aisle, critics and skeptics were quick to point out that where there is smoke, there is often fire. They began to dig into Diggs' past, looking for any sign of friction or behavioral patterns that might lend credibility to the new allegations. The timing of this legal drama could not have been more volatile. Diggs was already navigating a complex period in his career, with constant speculation about his relationship with team management and his future in the league. For a player who thrives on focus and blocking out the noise, this court case represented a level of noise that it was impossible to ignore. The narrative started to shift from his performance on the field to his conduct off of it. People began to ask, does this affect his trade value? How does the locker room feel about these distractions? The NFL is a business that prizes stability, and a looming court case is the definition of instability. The league office itself, known for its strict personal conduct policies, was reportedly monitoring the situation closely, adding an extra layer of pressure to an already boiling situation. As we dive deeper into the actual substance of the court filings, the complexity of the case becomes clear. This isn't a simple he said, she said scenario. The evidence being presented includes a trail of digital communications, financial records, and testimonies from individuals within Diggs' inner circle. These details suggest a conflict that didn't happen overnight, but was rather the result of months, perhaps even years, of escalating tension. The prosecution's strategy seems to be one of death by a thousand cuts, presenting small, seemingly insignificant details that, when woven together, paint a picture of a man whose private persona might be at odds with his public branding. Is the most dangerous kind of legal battle for a celebrity one that doesn't just threaten their bank account, but their very identity. Diggs' legal team, however, has not been idle. Known for their aggressive and proactive approach, his attorneys were quick to issue a rebuttal that was as sharp as one of Diggs' in-breaking roots. They characterized the lawsuit as a desperate attempt to tarnish the reputation of a hardworking man who has given everything to his craft. They emphasized that the evidence being touted by the media was taken out of context and misrepresented to create a sensationalized story. But in the age of the 24-hour news cycle, the truth is often less important than the first impression. By the time the legal team issued their statement, thousands of reaction videos had already been made, and the story had already taken on a life of its own. This part of the journey is where the partly psychological toll becomes evident. For an athlete, the body is a tool, but the mind is the engine. Navigating a high-profile court case while maintaining the physical demands of being an elite wide receiver is a feat few can manage. Every interview Diggs gave, every social media post he shared, and even his body language during practice was now being viewed through the lens of this court case. Was he frustrated? Was he distracted? Or was he more motivated than ever to prove his detractors wrong? The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife, and the sports world was collectively holding its breath, waiting for the next shoe to drop. Just as the legal back and forth was reaching a fever pitch, an unexpected variable entered the equation. Usually, sports stories stay in the sports section, and entertainment stories stay in the tabloids. But every so often, a story is so explosive that it shatters the glass wall between industries. That moment arrived when one of the biggest names in the music industry, Cardi B, decided that she had seen enough. Her entry into this narrative was like a lightning bolt. She didn't just comment on the case, she redefined how the public was looking at it. Her influence meant that this was no longer just a story for NFL fans. It was now a global cultural event. The transition from a sports legal dispute to a cultural phenomenon happened almost overnight. As we move into the next phase of this saga, we have to look at how Cardi B's involvement shifted the gravity of the situation. Why did she choose to speak up for Diggs? What did she see in this case that prompted her to take a stand in front of her millions of followers? Her voice brought a new perspective on celebrity, justice, and the way the media treats successful black men in the spotlight. But while her support was a massive boost for Diggs' public image, it also ensured that the spotlight on this court case would never dim. The stage was set for a clash of titans not on the football field, but in the arena of public perception and celebrity influence. Just when the sports world thought it had a handle on the Stefon Diggs legal saga, a lightning bolt from the entertainment industry struck, changing the trajectory of the story forever. The entry of Cardi B into this narrative wasn't just a celebrity cameo, it was a cultural reset. In the modern era, the walls between the NFL locker room and the Hollywood red carpet have completely crumbled. And nowhere was this more evident than when the Grammy-winning rapper decided to use her massive platform to address the allegations. Surrounding Diggs, this move transformed a serious legal dispute into a viral spectacle that captivated millions who wouldn't normally know a wide receiver from a running back. Cardi B's involvement wasn't subtle. She didn't just offer a vague statement of support. She went all in. In a series of fiery social media rants and Twitter Spaces sessions, she directly addressed the court case, even going as far as sharing alleged text messages to defend Diggs against the claims made by his former personal chef. Her message was clear. She believed Diggs was being targeted by lies and financial greed. For Cardi, this was about more than just one man. It was about the way successful individuals, particularly those within her inner circle, are scrutinized and harassed by the public and the media before a verdict is even reached. She famously told her fans and critics alike that when the truth finally came to light, she expected everyone who had been talking *T to be on their knees, offering an apology. However, this defense ignited a firestorm of its own. Critics immediately accused Cardi of crossing a dangerous line by publicly sharing details related to an active assault and strangulation case. Many argued she was potentially engaging in witness intimidation or putting undue pressure on the alleged victim. The backlash was swift and severe. Social media users began drawing parallels between her defense of Diggs and her past controversies, questioning why she continually chooses to tie her reputation to men with messy legal histories. The narrative shifted from what did Diggs do to why is Cardi B defending him so aggressively. This Cardi B factor created a fascinating culture clash. On one side, you had the traditional sports media, which was trying to report on the facts of the trial in Massachusetts, the lack of medical records, the conflicting testimonies, and the legal strategies of the defense. On the other side, had the stans and the pop culture hive, who were viewing the case through the lens of loyalty, celebrity relationships, and gender dynamics. The fact that Cardi B and Diggs had welcomed a child together added a deeply personal layer to the drama. Fans weren't just debating a court case, they were debating a family dynamic. When Cardi addressed her critics by saying, "I can't change, *T. I already had a baby," she was reminding the world that, for her, this wasn't content. It was her life. The impact on Stefon Diggs' brand during this period was unprecedented. Typically, an NFL team wants their star player to stay as far away from Cardi B-level headlines as possible. The New England Patriots, who had recently released Diggs following a Super Bowl loss, were likely watching the chaos from afar, relieved to be distanced from the PR nightmare. For Diggs, being a free agent in the middle of a trial is bad enough. Being the subject of a viral Cardi B rant makes it impossible to remain a quiet addition to any roster. Every team interested in his talent now had to weigh his elite on-field performance against the reality that signing him meant signing on to a permanent reality TV-style spotlight. As the trial progressed in May 2026, the atmosphere in the courtroom was thick with the influence of this outside noise. Lawyers on both sides had to navigate a jury pool that had almost certainly seen the viral clips. The prosecution focused on the harrowing details of the alleged December incident, describing a violent confrontation over a financial disagreement. Meanwhile, Diggs' defense team hammered home the point that there was no physical evidence, no photos, no hospital records to back up the chef's claims. They urged the jury to ignore the superstar status of the defendant and focus on the lack of proof. But outside the courtroom, the trial by social media was already reaching a verdict. Cardi B's defiance became a rallying cry for some and a point of disgust for others. The drama reached a fever pitch when rumors began to swirl about Diggs' alleged infidelity with the housemaid Clangs, that were later proven to be unverified internet gossip, but nonetheless fueled the fire. This is the danger of the Cardi B factor. Once a story enters her orbit, it becomes susceptible to the wildest forms of digital fanfiction. The truth becomes buried under layers of memes, T-pages, and sensationalized headlines. The relationship between the rapper and the athlete remained a focal point. Cardi's public outbursts revealed a woman who was super stressed out, balancing a tour, a new baby, and the weight of a high-profile legal battle. She begged her fans for support rather than judgment, highlighting the immense psychological pressure that comes when your private struggles become the world's entertainment. This part of the saga served as a stark reminder that behind the flashy Instagram posts and the multi-million-dollar contracts, these are human beings navigating complex, often painful situations under a microscope. As the jury finally retreated to deliberate, the world waited. The Cardi B response had ensured that this wasn't just a sports story anymore. It was a test of celebrity influence. Would her public defense help sway the court of public opinion in Diggs' favor? Or had the overexposure made a not guilty verdict even harder for the public to swallow? The tension was at an all-time high, setting the stage for a conclusion. That would either be a total vindication for the couple or the beginning of a much longer fall from grace. The narrative was no longer just about a football player in a courtroom. It was about the power of a voice that refuses to be silenced, even when the whole world is shouting back. After months of viral headlines and media storm that felt like a never-ending soap opera, the moment of truth finally arrived in a Massachusetts courtroom on May 5, 2026. A jury in Dedham District Court reached a decision that would determine the rest of Stefon Diggs' life. The trial, though lasting only 2 days, was a grueling showcase of conflicting narratives. The prosecution painted a picture of a violent December altercation with his personal chef, Jamila Adams. However, the defense dismantled that story with precision, highlighting a lack of medical evidence and pointing out inconsistencies in the accuser's testimony regarding deleted phone messages and financial demands. After less than 90 minutes of deliberation, the jury returned with the words Diggs had been waiting to hear: not guilty. The reaction inside the courtroom was one of visible relief. Diggs, now 32 years old, embraced his attorney, Mitchell Schuster. As the weight of felony strangulation and misdemeanor assault charges fell off his shoulders, outside the courthouse, his legal team was vocal, stating that they were always confident because the truth was on their side. They characterized the entire ordeal as a classic case of opportunistic targeting that high-profile athletes face the moment they step off the field. But while the legal battle was won, the war for his reputation and his career was entering a new, equally difficult phase. Throughout the trial, the Cardi B factor remained a constant shadow over the proceedings. The rapper, who had been vocal, in her defense of Diggs, saw the verdict as a total vindication. For Cardi, this wasn't just a win for Diggs. It was a win for her own intuition. The couple, who share a son named Brim, born in late 2025, had faced relentless scrutiny over their relationship and the paternity of their child. Even her ex-husband, Offset, had reportedly involved himself by questioning the paternity in court, adding a layer of family drama that most people couldn't imagine. But with the legal clearing of Diggs, the narrative of their troubled relationship began to shift toward one of resilience. In the weeks following the verdict, the focus moved back to where it all began: the football field. Diggs' status as a free agent made him the most discussed name in the NFL. The New England Patriots had released him in March just as the legal clouds were at their darkest. Despite a solid 2025 season where he caught over 80 passes for more than 1,000 yards, the distraction label had become a heavy burden. However, with the acquittal in hand, the league's front offices began to reevaluate. While he still faces a potential review under the NFL's personal conduct policy, the lack of a conviction has cleared a massive hurdle for any team looking to sign a veteran. Pro Bowl receiver, the cultural fallout of this case will be studied for years. It showed how a celebrity's support like Cardi B's can either humanize a defendant or create such a circus that the facts get lost. In this instance, Cardi's raw, unfiltered defense likely helped keep a segment of the public on Diggs' side when the media was ready to write him off. It also highlighted the intense pressure on modern athletes to manage their inner circle. The allegations from a personal chef, a person who lived in his home, serve as a cautionary tale for every young star in the league about the risks of proximity and the potential for financial exploitation. As we look at the future of Stefon Diggs, the road ahead is one of rebuilding. He is no longer just a wide receiver. He is a survivor of a public execution of character. His next team won't just be getting a route runner. They'll be getting a man who has been through the fire. There are already rumors linking him to the Baltimore Ravens and other contenders who need a veteran presence. For Diggs, the goal is simple: let the catches and the touchdowns erase the memory of the courtroom sketches and the legal jargon. And what about the drama with Cardi B? The Little Miss Drama tour continues, and Diggs has been spotted backstage, looking more like a supportive partner than a man under investigation. They have shown that they can weather a storm that would have broken most couples, whether they remain a power couple or focus on co-parenting their son. Brim, they have proven that they are masters of the comeback narrative. This saga serves as a reminder that in the intersection of sports, law, and celebrity, the truth is often a moving target. It took a jury less than 2 hours to decide that Stefon Diggs was innocent, but it may take the public much longer too. Move on from the spectacle. As the 2026 season approaches, the lights will once again shine on Diggs, but this time, he'll be looking for a different kind of victory. He has his freedom, he has his family, and now, he just needs a helmet. The story of Stefon Diggs' court case drama didn't end with a conviction, it ended with a second chance. And in the world of the NFL, a second chance is often all a superstar needs to remind everyone why they were a legend in the first place. So what do you think about this entire saga? Do you believe Stefon Diggs has finally cleared his name, or has the drama with Cardi B left a permanent mark on his legacy? And more importantly, which NFL team do you think should take a chance on him now that the legal clouds have cleared? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear every side of the story. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the intersection of sports and celebrity culture, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're new here, subscribe and turn on those post notifications. We are tracking all the major celebrity feuds, court cases, and industry drama as they happen. And you definitely don't want to miss our next investigative breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.